Okay. So YouTube, we live.
Live right now. I think we should be
Somebody,
starting.
somebody, somebody's watching from Scotland. You hear me?
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Isn't it?
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that.
I know. Jonathan, he watching from Scotland.
And you don't know him, right?
I'm gonna know somebody from Scotland.
I don't know. You could have met him in, when you were in London.
Nah. Cause it's like the Young Turks and then Status Quo. A lot of people, especially from the Young Turks, followed us. Cause when we was with the, I mean not with the Young Turks, when we was with the Young Turks, Jordan went to Germany. It was hella people out there that know him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he told me it was hella. He only went out there for vacation, but while he was on vacation, he was still working.
Yeah, he was still working. Yeah.
Yeah. Jordan just did a good thing today. He called me. It was like, he found out that Monty passed. Yeah, and then he like gave us he gave us what you call it? I took my medication. When you give your like condolences. Yeah,
Oh, condolences.
he gave us condolences, and then he hit me up today and asked me like if we needed anything. He said he was gonna send something. He was like, "What's the address?" I said, "Don't send nothing. He's gonna send like some food and stuff." I said, "Don't do that. Just send her a card or call her. She'll appreciate that more." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he gonna send her a card.
That's good.
Yeah, that was real sweet. I thought that was real nice that he did
Yeah.
that. Very thoughtful. Let's see where we at. Where we at? Okay, we live. We live.
Okay.
I got one person watching. That's me. Let's see. What? Shoestrings around a stupid thing.
Just,
What? What'd you say?
no, just don't want to.
Huh? Oh.
Just don't want to. No. That's fine? Oh, come on.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, yeah. Okay. On on Twitter, we got two people watching. What's going on Twitter? Why Twitter frozen like that? Don't be frozen, Twitter. I need you, bro. I need you, Brody. And let me just check Facebook. I'm just making sure, y'all, that we live everywhere. I was talking to my uncle, one of my uncles this weekend. He was like, "Hey, man, I be trying to watch you, but you be cussing too much here, Reverend." So I told him I told him I wasn't gonna cuss. See, login code. Why does it ask me for a login
So
code?
many bad words.
What? Jennifer Ann House Sanders shared your video. For sure. I appreciate you, Jennifer. Thank you, Mama. Thank you, Jennifer. Jennifer Ann House. Appreciate you. Thank you. Turn that down for me though. Thank you. Um, I gotta wait for this code. It's telling me. Okay, I'm already on. So what's going on? What's going on? We live now. So there's a couple things that. So I guess I'll get into it again for people that didn't just see. I've been gone for a week because my aunt passed away, and it was unexpected, so I had to go back to LA for the funeral and everything. And I just got into like how the coronavirus affected. If you guys look on my Instagram, you'll see the pictures of the funeral. When we had first off, they kept changing it. First they said we can only have 10, then they said 5. They finally ended up letting us have 50. We got like 300 people in our family, so many people didn't get to see my aunt. But and at the burial they only allowed 10. It's only 10 people, and you'll see on my IG it was only 10, like her brothers and sisters, and me and two of my cousins. That's it. That's it. And her husband and my uncle, which is my aunt's husband. That's it. So the coronavirus has been. I was just watching CNN right now, and I was looking at how many people are passing away, and they interviewed a family from
New Jersey.
was it no, not the white lady, the black family. What was that, from Chicago?
Yes, it was
Was
like,
it, or Louisiana?
no, no, it was
Chicago.
Chicago or,
Okay, Chicago, a family. They just lost two sisters. Two sisters they just lost, and so it made me think about like, damn, they really ain't gonna be able to see their people off. I mean, can't nobody hold a funeral for 2 or 3 months for this to die off. So they really not going. I mean, this is gonna be it. They gonna have to have like 10 people there, and that's sad. And even in itself, you can't. a lot of people need that for closure. You know what I'm saying? It was stressful. Like, man, I was attitudinal the whole week. It was so bad. They had random people calling me. Like, when random people start calling me, I'm like, okay, somebody telling them to call me to try to, like, see if he okay or calm him down or something, because I kept going off. You know what? No cap. Like, I think I may be bipolar, low key. I think so though, because it was a rage, but I've been feeling it. I feel it a lot. Normally I know how to check it, but I wasn't checking it. It was like I felt it. I couldn't let it go. It could have been. I mean, that could have been a part of it, like she passed away and everything. But I think that wasn't the first time I felt that though. That wasn't the first time I felt it. But normally I'm able to check it. But just because I can check it doesn't mean it ain't there. You know what I mean? And it was just like I couldn't. I was like, I told my aunt, because I was staying with my uncle, because he at the house by himself. So me and my cousin stayed with my uncle, and it got to the point I'm like, I gotta go to my aunt's house because I'm end up snatching one of these so-and-sos. But everything all worked out. It was all about, people were just sad. That's all it was. We was all sad. It was all of a sudden, and we were trying to get the program and stuff together, and it was just, everything was changing, and it just seemed, but in the end, it all worked out as far as like the programming and things like that. But it's just it was a sad time, and people were just sad and letting it out. My cousin grabbed me by my face, like she accosted me. Yeah. She grabbed me by my face. That would have never happened. I ain't never even seen Keisha that upset in my life before. She was upset. Obviously, I wasn't going to do nothing to her, but my anger went towards her husband, like, because she was, and I was getting angry, but it wasn't, it was like toward her husband. I wanted to hug him and tell him I loved him. That's what I wanted to do. Anyway, that's that. So so my uncle, he had told me that he watched the show and that I cussed too much, so I'm gonna try not to cuss. And he sent me this video, man, and my uncle's a minister, and it is unfortunate that a minister is looking at this type of propaganda about Democrat, like he's an evangelical. It's about Democrats creating the coronavirus to sabotage Trump's election. Mind you, I love my uncle. He ain't gonna take this how he take it. He'll get over it if you take it away. He sent it to me. If you don't want me to talk about it, he shouldn't have sent it. Because to me, I think it's irresponsible, especially as a minister. Because as a minister, just like the president, people look to you for guidance. And if you can be susceptible to some conspiracy theories, bro, you got to get it together. I told him, I said, don't be sending us this weird S. And yeah, he got these evangelicals and somebody's, it's weird. It's like some Alex Jones stuff. I'm like, what? Trip me out. Get it together, bro. You can't be doing that. That is not the vision. You got a flock of people that believe in you. Don't lead them down that conspiracy road. Ain't know what the heck. Do you know people dying right now? People are dying. What if somebody told you that about your sister? What if somebody said, you know what I'm saying? Oh, what happened is just a conspiracy theory. Like, cause then that what it does, it discredits like what you're going through. Like, you know what I'm saying? It discredits people's experience, to say it's fake or it's made up. And you got people dying out there. They got real people on the news right now talking about their family members, just like we was talking about our family member a couple of days ago, dead. You know what I'm saying? When you say something like that is made up, you know what I mean? You undermine people's experience and what they're going through, Come on now. You always tell me, I'm going to pray for you when he be sending me wild out and stuff. You're like, I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to pray when you see, when I be doing too much, I'm going to pray for you now because that video is too much, Unc. That video is too much. You need to cut it out. Huh? Yeah, watch it. That's what I'm talking on. I was like, what the heck? It was crazy. It was like some Alex Jones type stuff. Yeah, I watched it. I couldn't believe he did. First off, it's because he a minister. So I know he has influence. And you can't be watching this being a minister. Nah, that ain't the vision, bro. Not that. We can have arguments on how you praise God and how you choose to pray. You know, people do that differently based on your religion, but you can't believe no propaganda, bro. Nah, that ain't it. Because if you giving it to us, you probably telling somebody else that too. Come on now. I don't like Democrats either, but I don't believe that. I'm independent. I don't believe that though. But anyway, I'm gonna get off my unk. I love you. He probably hot right now. He probably tight. It's okay. I ain't worried. He's still gonna love me. He can't do nothing but love me. He my uncle. He ain't gonna get rid of me. Love you too. So anyway, obviously, the thing that's been kind of occupying the waves, occupying TV, and I think that's probably a reason too why the internet is tripping, because so many people are on the internet. Like, I think it was the New York Times came out with an article saying that they were trying to get Netflix to lower the resolution in their videos because so many people was watching it at once. Pause. If you guys haven't seen Tiger, what is it? Tiger King, you better watch that on Netflix. It's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, I was on a plane watching. I watched the whole thing. It's crazy. It's a real good documentary. I love documentaries. I almost watch documentaries more than I watch films now. But anyway, so we got the coronavirus, and we're gonna talk about that a little bit. It's been the coronavirus has been crazy. A lot of people dying. Today, I was watching the news all day. I woke up at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. It was at 1197 that had passed away. 1197. Before I went live right now, it was, I think, at 1558. Imagine that. This is in America. Imagine that. Within a day, close to 400 people died. Think about that. That's crazy. I heard somebody. I was online the other day looking at some videos, just some random social media stuff, checking what people are doing, and somebody was talking about because I don't know nobody that died from the coronavirus. This is just a game. Like, you ain't got to do nothing. Y'all tripping, man. What you don't wait till your mama die, your cousin die, your auntie die before you say this is real. Don't do. And there's a lot of people that's online that got like 4 million, 3 million followers that's telling people that this ain't real. This is real, man. Don't take this as a joke. I ain't saying that you shouldn't live and that you can't, live, but you gotta move right. This is real. People are dying. You know what I mean? And just because thank God that somebody in your family ain't died. Don't undermine it or discredit it because ain't nobody died. When your people die, it's a whole lot of people that don't know your people died, but your people still died, right? You know what I'm saying? So don't discount somebody else's feelings. You know what I mean? It's real. People out here dying. They got real people on the news talking about they people that's dead that they just saw yesterday. And all of a sudden they dead. So y'all got to be more responsible, especially when you got that many people following you. You got influence. You know what I mean? Don't be leading nobody down the wrong road. They depending on you because they going to listen to you just like they listening to Trump when he lied. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so Trump had he had another one of the task force meetings today about the coronavirus. And just to give you some statistics, by the way, y'all go ahead and follow us, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share this with your friends, your family, your mama, your daddy. We're going to be going live all the time. We're trying to build up the page and everything. In addition to this page, I'm actually going to start another page. I'm going to do another page as well because I want to, I like to talk about way more stuff than politics. I got a lot on my mind. Talk about stuff that's going on. I think I'm funny. And so I want to talk about stuff like that. I want to talk about relationships too. I got a lot to say about relationships. I've been in a lot of them. I ain't been the best, but I've been in a lot of them. But I know, though, I'm honest with myself. I'm always self-evaluating. I'm honest. As honest as I can be, though. Sometimes I got to get checked, you know what I mean? But I try to be honest. But yeah, he had a task force meeting today. And this dude's so petty. Man, he is such a child. You know what I'm saying? He's upset with the governor of Washington right now. Let me find out. I hate just saying governor without knowing his name. I'm sorry, y'all. Hold on. He's mad at Jay Inslee, Jay Robert Inslee. Jay is the governor of. Let me get a picture so y'all can see who I'm talking about. Cause this how petty Trump is. Trump is. Let me go here. Hold on, y'all. Let me move this right quick. Just setting this up so y'all can see who he is. This is Governor Jay Inslee. And if y'all, I don't know if y'all were able to see the task force meetings that he's been having them every day. You know what? I don't know if you guys. I'm gonna just put this out there, and whatever. But is it just me, or is Governor Cuomo is poising himself to run for president? I could be tripping, but I don't think I'm tripping. Because I thought he was going to run in 2020. And I think maybe, he's a part of the establishment. So they all probably just said, no, Biden's going to run. Because remember, Bloomberg got in late because Biden, he didn't think, because Biden wasn't doing as good. So he thought that he wasn't going to be able to win. But the reason that Bloomberg didn't start when everybody else started is because the establishment had already came together and say, this is going to be our man. This is going to be the one that loses for us in 2020. And so Cuomo is either poisoning himself to run for president in 2024 or, now, the Democrats have those super delegates. Now, everyone kind of thought, some people thought, I think people kind of know what the Unity Commission was, is to kind of settle the beefs and come together like the moderate Democrats and the more progressive Democrats, like the Bernie. They explained it like the Bernie wing versus the Hillary wing. And so people think that they eliminated superdelegates. They didn't eliminate superdelegates. Or maybe people don't think that. What they did, I was there. I had to cover a couple of the meetings. So what they did, and Nomiki, I worked with Nomiki at the Young Turks. She was part of the Unity Commission. And so what they did is just don't allow it in the first round. But if someone don't get plurality and become the nominee after the first round, then the second round, they can use super delegates, which are a bunch of people that they picked that are ex-governors, senators, and things like that the establishment picked to say, you know what? We don't care what the people said. We want this person right here. And I say that to say, Democrats aren't blind. They see the cognitive decline in Joe Biden. I don't know if you guys saw him on Anderson Cooper 360 today, but he looks his reaction is delayed. He's old. You can see the cognitive decline, man, and they see it. They're not stupid. I think either it's going to cause an uproar. I think it's 72, the last uproar that they had in the Democratic convention in Chicago when they had riots and everything. It was either 72 or 68. Let's see. 64, so what's it? 68. 68, because Goldwater, because LBJ decided not to run again. He won because after JFK lost, then he finished JFK's term. Then he had to run. He won that, did his 4 years. So it was 68 when they had the convention, and it was hell. It was in Chicago, and the police was beating up everybody, and the Democrats took that as well. They took that from the nominee that people want. I think it was Goldwater, if I'm not mistaken, and they gave it to, I forgot the guy's name. But the Democrats can get to the convention, and on a second round, if there's not a plurality, use those superdelegates to then appoint a nominee, and it can be someone that did not campaign, which could be Cuomo. But I don't think Cuomo's stupid. That'll be a stupid move on Cuomo's part. People will resent him. So I don't think they're that stupid. People are already going to resent the entire process because they feel like Bernie they did a coup on Bernie. But I don't think Cuomo's that stupid. I'm just getting to know Cuomo. I just moved to New York, if you guys don't know. So he's now my governor. and I'm just getting to see him in action. And I gotta say he's doing all right. Today I was listening to him and I was like doing some other work, and he just started talking, man, and he demanded what he was saying, demanded my attention. And I felt like it was like 9/11 and we was gonna get through it. I'm like, man, he's doing better. But you know what's happening though? You know, whether this thing goes good or goes bad, Trump is gonna get the blame, right? When it goes bad, he don't take the blame, period. But when it goes good, he'll take all the blame. So whatever Cuomo does, Trump is gonna get that credit because literally, Cuomo is setting. He's kind of setting the plate for what the rest of the country is doing right now. As you see, overnight last night, California, people that's infected went up 26% in the night. Overnight, New York. Overnight, I think New York. Overnight, the country had 250 deaths. In New York, I think it had 17 or 18 deaths overnight. So you starting to see it spike in a lot. California is starting to go up, and that trajectory is steep. That trajectory is real steep. Let me see where my notes are. I took some. I don't know where I put them. Which one is it in? Growing up, is it? I don't know what I did with my notes. I hate that.
You don't have your notes?
Huh?
You don't have your notes?
Trying to see. I got so many. Oh, here they go. I got so many notes in my notepad that everything would get mixed up. But I just found them. So I'm gonna look at some statistics right now, and that's you know what. Okay, yeah. So Atlanta is spike. Atlanta's going up. They're starting to see more because now that obviously, if you guys have been looking at the news, there's nurses. A doctor just died today. Look, these doctors out here is crazy, man. They don't have the protection that they need. They don't have the equipment that they need. They're out there risking their life, like literally. Because if they get sick, I forgot the guy's name, the doctor that died in New York. He was like 41 years old, young guy. Let me see the doctor that died in New York, huh? Okay, yeah. Was he? You said 44? I don't know. New York doctor died in New York. Let me see. Image. That's him. New York knows. Okay, he was a nurse. He died. Coworkers are upset. They should be upset. And what is it? 250 doctors and nurses died in Italy last night. 50 doctors died. 50 doctors died in Italy last night. Nurse dies. Coworkers blame. Okay, this is the New York Times. Hopefully they don't fold. Ooh, they just did it. Dang it. They just did it. The New York Times want you to, ain't nobody about to pay no money to get the New York Times. Let me see, I'm gonna look it up. No, okay, I can't. Okay, New York Times ain't gonna let me do it. Okay. Somebody else covered this. It ain't just the New York Times. One day ago. Okay. Huh? Okay, Boston. Any nurses? Okay, New York City nurse dies. Let's look at this right quick. Check it out. A New York City nurse dies from the coronavirus. Angry co-workers blame the lack of protective gear. That's for real. So this is what they're talking about. Kios Kelly, a nurse manager at the Manhattan Hospital, texts his sister on March 18th with some devastating news. He had tested positive for the coronavirus. Look how young this guy looks. He tested positive for the coronavirus and was in the ventilator. And was on a ventilator in the intensive care unit. He told her he could text her, but he couldn't talk. So CNN interviewed his sister, and he was like, I can text you, but he couldn't talk. I guess he couldn't breathe, and it hurt for him to talk. And he had an extreme case, and he was dead within a day. I don't want to get too much in the weeds in this story because that's not a. This is kind of. I just wanted to bring it up and know his name, but he died. They got a whole lot of nurses saying that they don't have the equipment that they need. They don't have the protective gear that they need. They have to use a mask the entire shift, like those little masks, not the real masks that they need, like a whole face cover. You know, the little things that you've been seeing people walk down the street on their mouth. They got to use that for an 8-hour shift, dealing with multiple patients. If somebody coughs, they get in your pores, they get in your eyes. That's how you can get it. It ain't just your mouth. You know what I'm saying? And they were showing exercises showing how close a nurse or a doctor has to be to get the thing down their throat, to get the ventilator down the patient's throat. They got to damn near kiss a patient to get it down their throat. And they were showing like they need to be protected. It's almost like, think about the mask that they had on. I mean, the gear that they should wear. They had an example on CNN. Think about when someone goes into like surgery. You ever see it when they have the gloves on, but only not wearing one glove, wearing two pair of gloves. So two gloves on each arm. And you know, welders, how they got that face glass, they want you to have something like that on so it won't get nowhere. They went through the whole get down, and they're not getting any of that. And they got these people out here anxious, nervous, don't think they're gonna go home and give it to their kid if they do have it. Because you know, a lot of people, they'll be carrying it and won't have no symptoms. Some people carry it and won't get a symptom till like days later. And so they got everybody out here paranoid. It ain't nothing happening for these people, man. And people are risking their lives. And it's a terrible situation out here. And it's going to get terrible in a whole lot of other places too. Right now, it's just that New York is the Mecca, the epicenter, ground zero. I guess that's what they would say. It's ground zero for, I guess, no, China would be ground zero. I guess it's ground zero for like America. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's what's going on. And they were talking about, they just feel like, one of the nurses said, they're making us do things today that we would have been fired for 2 weeks ago. So think about that. Whatever, they didn't get into what they're making them do, but whatever that is, not only are they putting themselves in jeopardy, they could be putting the people that's hospitalized in jeopardy. Think about it. Because if they have a policy where they don't want you to do something that if you did it, you could get fired, that means whatever you could do could possibly harm either yourself or a patient. And they're letting them do that now. You don't win that way because you're going to cause some other type of breakout. Period. And it's a mess over here. It's a mess over here. So that's what, that's what's going on here. And everybody should pray for them. If you can volunteer. If you're in New York. If you're not in New York, when it come to your city, because it will, do what you can do to volunteer. It's about like 1,000 either retired, in school, or other type of physicians and nurses that responded to volunteer their time. 10,000 in New York, which is a great feeling. But Cuomo did a speech, really impressed me. I'm like, oh, he want to run for president. He sound like a president out here. So I want y'all to see the video. Oh, by the way, I was going to have my aunt. Me and my aunt, I feel like my aunt, I need to, we talk almost every day, but I feel like I need to like see her more. Like when her sister died, it got me like, man, I'm all the way out here. I love her. I don't want nothing to happen to her. And I don't want to feel away. So I'm trying, because sometimes I'll be like getting depressed and all that. And I'll be hiding in the closet and hiding where nobody can find me. And you know what I'm saying? And sometimes it get bad, but instead, if she's a part of like the show, like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or twice a week, I'm gonna do it because she's an older person and she black and she voting for Biden, and I'm younger and I'm black and I'm voting for Bernie, and that's been a topic of discussion, and I think it'll be interesting for y'all to see her side. And we always talk and we argue about it like almost every morning, so I think that'll make for like some good discussions, and y'all can kind of see the divide. The divide is real when we be talking. She'd be like, you don't let nobody talk. Because I'd be yelling, trying to take over the whole conversation. But I'm going to try to be more respectful. Here go Twin, y'all. Say what's up to Twin. Say, hey, Malcolm. Mm-hmm. All right. Just want y'all to see him for a minute. I haven't seen him all week because I was in L.A. But, so here go Cuomo. I want y'all to see Cuomo. Because Cuomo came with it. I was impressed. I was like, look at this dude. Out here making me want to go and do something to help somebody else. Man, I don't think y'all heard that. Damn it. What happened? Huh? Oh, maybe it's this. Man, no, it ain't that. Let me see what's wrong. That's crazy. I just had y'all look at that whole thing. Let me see if I can fix this right quick. Man. For just character. Turn it on. Why is this thing not working? Okay, here we go. My bad. Here we go. I don't know what happened. This thing be tripping sometime, y'all. My bad.
This is a different beast that we're dealing with. This is an invisible beast. It is an insidious beast. This is not going to be a short deployment. This is not going to be that you go out there for a few days, we work hard, and we go home. You are living a moment in history. This is going to be one of those moments they're going to write about and they're going to talk about for generations. This is a moment that is going to change this nation. This is a moment that forges character, forges people, changes people, make them stronger, make them weaker, but this is a moment that will change character. And 10 years from now, you'll be talking about today to your children or your grandchildren, and you will shed a tear because you will remember the lives lost. And you'll remember the faces, and you'll remember the names, and you'll remember how hard we worked and that we still lost loved ones. And you'll shed a tear, and you should, because it will be sad. But you will also be proud. You'll be proud of what you did.
He said you'll be proud of what you did. It's longer than that too. If you guys get a chance, listen to it. He touched me. He caught my attention because I was doing something else, and I was like, man, he made me want to get up and do something. But let's read this article though. I want to read this article to y'all. This is about the coronavirus. So, de Blasio threatens fines for social distance violators. Officials said late Friday the number of coronavirus cases in New York City has climbed above 26,000. The city's death toll was 450. The death toll was 450. It's way more than that now. When was this updated? This was updated 20 minutes ago. Okay, so it was 450 at this time when that happened. Look at Twin. No, he okay. He can do it on the carpet. I ain't tripping. Yeah. Okay. Some 400 being held at Rikers Island and 700 more inmates around the state will be freed in the coming days to stem the virus spread among incarcerated people. What? Some 400 held on Rikers Island and 700 more inmates around the state will be freed in the coming days to stem the virus's spread among incarcerated people. Okay. They're supposed to be closing down. Rikers Island. They passed that like 3 years ago. I don't understand why it's still open. In need of ventilators is debated as the death toll surges. Governor Andrew Cuomo on Friday rebutted Donald Trump's comments that New York was overstating the need for ventilators and that the state was overlooking thousands of the machines in the storage. So I guess Trump delivered ventilators to New York, but sent them to New Jersey in a warehouse. It was weird. We're gathering them in a stockpile so that when we need them, this is Cuomo. When we need them, they will be there. So Cuomo was talking about, he was talking about how, no, we need them ready. Trump is saying, oh, no, I don't want to send them to y'all because if y'all don't need them, then we're going to have to try to get them back and send them to somebody else. So we don't want y'all to storm. I'm like, how stupid does that sound? So we don't want to have none ready in the state when people need them. You know what a ventilator does? It helps you live because you can't breathe, fool. People ain't got 2 or 3 days to wait for a plane to come and drop some off when they need them. Stop being simple. Later in the interview on the radio station WAMC, Mr. Cuomo took another swipe at Donald Trump while discussing the topic. You know, people are talking about this and him taking swipes, but to keep it 100, they've been kind of getting along, and it seemed like they've been working together. It's a sort of a sensational but ignorant point, the governor said, adding that if he got it from Fox, you know the old expression, garbage in, garbage out. That's what I would say about that. All right. In an interview with Fox News on Thursday, Mr. Trump scoffed at New York's claim that they needed at least 30,000 ventilator machines that help the sickest patients. Oh, you know what else? I don't know if you guys been paying attention to the news, but this is like one of the saddest things in the world, that they're about to have to start making decisions to take people off of ventilators if it doesn't seem like they're getting well. So, you know, sometimes it looked like people aren't getting well, and then all of a sudden they turn, like a lady, she was 102. She was on the ventilator for like some weeks. Then she finally started getting better. What they're saying now is they're going to have to make a decision to take people off. It's coming to that because they don't have enough. if they take too long to get well, their priority, they going. I guess it's a policy that all hospitals have that they have to implement or put into effect, almost like an executive order that says we're going to make a decision. The people who we feel will get well have priority. So if we don't feel that you'll get well, that's such a subjective. Who's making this decision if we don't feel you will get well, then you can't get a ventilator? That's a cold reality. Think about that, man. That's like some apocalyptic stuff. Ain't nobody gonna just die. Somebody gonna take a ventilator. Somebody gonna cause a ruckus. There's gonna be a misunderstanding. It's gonna be furniture moving. Cause ain't nobody gonna just say, "Oh, you just ain't gonna give it to me. You ain't gonna let me get better," or somebody's family. I wish somebody would tell me, "Oh, we're gonna take your family off because he's stable." Because he's stable. He's stable. I mean, he probably in a coma, but he's stable. You think you're gonna take him off because he's not getting better yet? Man, please. Everybody going to jail that night. That's for real. But that's what's going on with that. I want to get into some of the comments that Trump was talking about, and we're gonna get into some of the things he said today. He's funny. Hey, if it's anything about Trump, he'll make you laugh because he's so petty and such a child that you be like, this dude is funny. He real funny though. So here, let's listen to this.
Oh, absolutely. We're not going to be keeping her. All over the world, they want them, and we're in a position to make them, and other countries aren't. Okay?
If I first can follow up on that, Governor Cuomo had said 30 to 40,000 ventilators is what he needed. He based that on the experts that were advising him. What are you basing your assessment that he doesn't need that many on?
Well, if you look, and I think you can ask that question best of Deborah, but I think their estimates are high. I hope they're high. They could be extremely high. We're doing even hospitals based on pretty high estimates. You know, I'm doing them anyway. And as I told John, if we do not need them, that would be wonderful. We can help a lot of great people all over the world. We can help them live. But I think his estimates are going to be very high. We're going to see. Don't forget, we sent thousands.
So just to give you a little context, they're talking about right now. So like what I just read to you guys on the article on Fox News, Trump said that Cuomo was overstating like what they needed. And he was like, you don't need that many. And this was just last night on Fox News. Now today, all of a sudden, he do a 180 and say, oh, you know, he signed an executive order, and it's called the, hold on, what is it called? That executive order that he signed today, Defense Production Act. So what that does is it gives the government full control over any private company and have to force them to like get production. It's kind of like what FDR did during the New Deal, during the World War, to produce products and things that the country needed. And they get paid, but he make them stop doing production of what they're doing and then start producing what is needed right now. And so he signed that executive order. But it's confusing to a lot of people because this is literally not even 24 hours after he said that the governor was overstating. But now I guess it can give you some type of security because to me it says that he must be listening to somebody else because based on what he's saying, what he said last night, he feel like we didn't need it. Now he's making them. So, you know, you can look at it a good thing, you know, but the one thing that's crazy about these briefings that he have, I mean, but you see it all the time. Anytime he goes off the cuff, you just see his mind working in real time. You see how he goes everywhere, and he only know like 3 words, so he be using the same 3 words every time. Okay, hold on. All the time.
Of ventilators to New York, and they didn't know they got them. Then we sent thousands of ventilators to New York. They have a warehouse, a New York warehouse in Edison, New Jersey, which is an interesting thing. And we sent them to Edison, New Jersey. They were in the...
Hey, how stupid is he? And then they have no, they don't. It's in New York. You sent it to the wrong place, Foolio.
Warehouse, ready to go, and New York never took them. So they knew they were there. So we have to get people lined up. But we've given that, and I'm not blaming New York. Look, this is something that's of a magnitude that nobody's ever seen before. But I'll tell you what, the federal government's done a hell of a job. So we sent thousands of ventilators to New York, and they didn't know about it at the time they were complaining. Thousands. We had 2,000, and then 2,000, and then 4,000, and they were going there in large numbers. And then before that, we sent many thousands. We want to have so many that we do have more than we need because we can send them to other great countries, and other countries that have been our friends, and they'll never be able to do it themselves. Yeah, please.
Some of the governors are not appreciative of what the federal government's done.
Listen
And you've
to this.
suggested that some of these governors are not doing everything they need to do, like that these governors are at fault. Can you be specific? What more in this time of a
Well, I think
national
we've done a
emergency
great
should these
job for the
governors
state of Washington, and I think the governor, who's a failed presidential candidate, as you know, he leveled out at zero in the polls. He's constantly chirping, and I guess complaining would be a nice way of saying it. We're building hospitals. We've done a great job for the state of Washington. Michigan, all she does is she has no idea what's going on, and all she does is say, oh, it's the federal government's fault. And we've taken such great care of Michigan. You know the care we've taken of New Jersey. I think if you ask Governor Murphy of New Jersey, how are we doing? I think he'd say great. I think. He's a Democrat. Governor Cuomo has really said we're really doing a great job. And I saw the news conference where he was thanking the people from FEMA, the people from Army Corps of Engineers this morning. I mean, they built a hospital like in 3.5 days. And it's a big hospital in the Javits Center. And they're building medical facilities in different parts of New York. And Governor Cuomo's been appreciative. But, you know, a couple of people aren't. We have done a hell of a job. The federal government has really stepped up.
What I'm asking is, what more specifically do you want the governor of Washington?
All I want them to do, very simple, I want them to be appreciative. I don't want them to say things that aren't true. I want.
Oh my God. If this guy isn't a kid, I just want them to, oh, let me call Trump and tell him thank you. Thank you so much for what you did, even though we need more and this is not sufficient, but thank you. Please, please just let me get on my knees. Come on, man. He is such a kid. I just want him to be appreciative. I will appreciate when you give me what my state needs, period. I just want them to be appreciative. That's it. Not, I need the state to communicate better because for some reason there must be a miscommunication because we figured that they needed this, but they're saying they needed this as well. We didn't know that. No, that's not what he wants. He wants someone to call and thank him and kiss his ass. It's almost just like LBJ back when he passed the civil rights bill, got upset that black people still wasn't satisfied, as if that one bill is just gonna satisfy everything that's been going on with black people in the country. Oh, you niggas should just be happy. Come on, man. Just be thankful. He's funny. I got another clip I want to show you. Okay, hold on. 46. Let's go there.
This is where states were buying, we were buying. And I said specifically, because I heard about it, pull back, let the state buy it. Immediately, the price goes way down, and they end up buying it. But we're also competing against many countries, because many countries need the ventilators. That's why I want to build more, if possible. John, maybe we'll take one more question.
The question I was building up to is, are you able to guarantee, to assure these states, these hospitals, that everybody who needs a ventilator will get a ventilator?
So here's what I'll tell you. I think we're in really good shape. This is a pandemic, the likes of which nobody's seen before. I think we're in great shape. I think that, number one, we've distributed, ventilators is a big deal. We've distributed vast numbers of ventilators, and we're prepared to do vast numbers. I think we're in great shape. I hope that's the case. I hope that we're going to have leftovers so we can help other people, other countries.
Everybody who needs one will be able to get a ventilator.
Look, don't be a cutie pie, okay? You know, anyone who needs one. Nobody's ever done what we've done. Nobody's done anything like we've been able to do. And everything I took over was a mess. It was a broken country in so many ways other than this. We had a bad testing system. We had a bad stockpile system. We had nothing in the stockpile system. So I wouldn't tell me what you know, like being a wise guy. Go ahead.
Mr. President,
signed a
Ooh, I got that corona. Hey, hey, Trump is so petty. He said, "Don't be a cutie pie. Don't be." Look, you see that? What's weird is like, if you talk about Wall Street and the stocks and the stock market and where we were 22 days ago before all this happened, he wouldn't say, "Oh, all this stuff was in place when Obama left, and so I can't take the credit. I'm gonna give it to Obama." No, he don't say that. He said, "Oh no, I did this." But now when he asks him, and it's such a fair question, it's not even anything to argue about. Will everyone that needs a ventilator will have access to a ventilator? Don't be a cutie pie. Don't be a wise guy. Really? You got offended because I gave you a follow-up question? People should follow up with questions and pressure your ass. It's like they should press Biden. We're going to talk about him in a minute because they don't. And that's why we have him in office right now. That's why we have Trump in office right now. Because we allow politicians to just lie and don't press them and don't challenge them on nothing. And you know why? Because they want to be in good standing. They hate when Trump is mad at them. They hate when any other politician is mad at them. They want to be in the circle. They want to have access. That's why you got to limit. If I owned a company like that, I limit my reporters, my journalists, access to anybody. Like, nah, you don't get too close because I want you to continue to press them. Because if you just want to be a part of the circle, guess what? You ain't going to ask no follow-up questions. You're going to let them say whatever and just lie, even when you know it's a lie, because you don't want to offend, because you want to be invited to the next tea party, or you want to be invited to the next White House Correspondents' Dinner. You know what I'm saying? And this has been the culture that mainstream media has had, and that's why we have Trump today, because they just let him lie about everything and didn't press him or challenge him on nothing. And now he feel like he can just lie, so soon as somebody press him on something, he get offended. Who are you to ask me that question? That's not Trump's fault. That's the media's fault, period. Here go another clip.
Is 100 days fast enough? Like you said, is that fast enough to get 100,000? Because some of these
Let's
people
put
need
it this
3
way.
weeks.
Let's put it this way. We've distributed thousands and thousands already. Normally, these would be bought by states, just so you understand. Normally, these would be bought by governors. They were, I don't want to say unprepared, but nobody was prepared for this. What we've done, nobody can even imagine. And by the way, I've had governors tell me, including Democrat governors, they said, "We can't believe you've been able to do this." And you go to other countries, and we're not only competing against states, because we don't want to compete against states. We've had a couple of cases where states were buying, we were buying, and I said specifically, because I heard about it, pull back, let the state buy it. Immediately, the price goes way down, and they end up buying it. But we're also competing against many countries, because many countries need the ventilators. That's why I want to build more, if possible. John, maybe we'll take one more question.
The question I was building up to is are you able to guarantee, to assure these states, these hospitals, that everybody who needs a ventilator will get a ventilator?
So here's what I'll tell you. I think we're in really good shape. This is a pandemic, the likes of which nobody's seen before. I think we're in great shape.
Let me get past this. This ain't.
We're going to see. Look, Governor Cuomo, we've given him 10,000 units. It's a lot. And they're testing it. It's a malaria drug. It's also
Okay, here you go. This is what I want y'all to see. Okay. About this drug. Listen to what he said. Listen to
You're
this.
not going to have a problem waiting it out. It's life, it's safety, and it's our country. But we have to take care of people. At the same time, we want to get them out. They want to get out. Our country was built on that. But we have to make sure it's safe, and everyone knows that. Okay, one more question, please.
Thank you. Both the World Health Organization as recently as today and your own health officials have said that any treatments that we use for coronavirus should be scientifically demonstrated to be effective. But at the same time, you've said that chloroquine, as an example, could be used as a cure very soon. So is the WHO and your health officials wrong on this point? Are they?
So hydroxychloroquine, which is supposed to be the better of the two, seems to have some good backing. We're going to see. Look, Governor Cuomo, we've given him 10,000 units. It's a lot. And they're testing it. It's a malaria drug. It's also a drug for arthritis. But and it's phenomenal for those two things, as you probably know, especially for malaria. but we're going to find out soon. I hope it works. There are signs that it could be doing well. They are testing 10,000 units. It's a lot. And I tell you what, I want to thank the FDA because they approved it immediately. Based on the fact that it was already out for a different purpose, they approved it immediately. So, look, hydroxychloroquine is a very powerful drug for certain things, and it's a very successful drug. There's reason to believe that it could be successful here. Now, the reason I disagree with you, and I think Tony would disagree with me, but the reason I disagree with you is that we have a pandemic. We have people dying.
The reason I disagree with you, but Tony is the guy that, I don't know if you guys see, that's the scientist, the one that's I forgot his title, the short guy. Yeah, the doctor. Yeah, I forgot his title though. He's the one that Trump just said, "I disagree with you, reporter," and then the guy that knows everything will disagree with me. It's amazing what he's saying right now. Jesus Christ.
Now, if we're going to go into labs and test all of this for a long time, we can test it on people right now who are in serious trouble, who are dying. If it works, we've done a great thing. If it doesn't work, we tried.
Beautiful. If it doesn't work, we tried. If it kills people, we tried. We're going to try something that we don't know what the effects is going to have on anyone that may have the coronavirus. If it works, we did good. If it didn't, hey, we tried. That's why we're testing on people. They volunteered. They signed the waiver. Come on, man. Why y'all vote him in the office, bro? Y'all tripping. Y'all tripping. Donald Trump is exhausting, and that's all I got on Donald Trump. So just to give y'all some context, right now, let me go to this. So right now, what we are with the coronavirus cases, we have 596,350 corona cases. This is worldwide. This is what we have worldwide. Do you know America almost has a fifth of the cases? Because we have over 100,000 right now. Deaths worldwide is 27,343. Now, I've been hearing some people talk online, and they talk about this, and they say, oh, well, 10,000 people died of flu. This is not a huge thing. 10,000 people die every year from the flu. Every year. We're 3 months, because that's worldwide. So we're 3 months into this. 3 months, and we have 27,000. This is nothing like the flu. That's why it's a pandemic. Come on, man. Pay attention. Out of the 500, out of the over 500, almost 600,000 cases, 133,000 have recovered. So you can see that they have recovered. And I'm going to go to America specifically. So the U.S. You guys can see it's the first line here. Total cases we have in the U.S. Now, this is real time right here. This is real time update because the last time I watched the news, it was at 101. So it's 104. So this is a real time update. 104, and my tongue is like tired. 104,126 total cases in the U.S. That's in this nation. New cases mean the cases that we've received from 12 midnight, starting today, like at midnight till right now, we have 18,691 new cases. Total deaths. Wow. Y'all, when I went live, we were at 1,554 when I went live. I haven't even been live an hour. And total deaths is at 1,695. Total deaths is at 1,695. Maybe I've been live an hour. I don't know, but an hour. It was 1,554 when I went live, bro. 400 new deaths. I think yesterday we had the highest that we've had, and it was like 200 and something. Yeah, 250 or something like that within 24 hours. Total recovered 2,500. Active cases, people that are either in the hospital or in quarantine, 99,909. Serious critical cases, which these people are knocking on heaven's door. 2,463, almost 2,500 cases of people that are critically I don't want to say injured, but critically has critical cases. And so this is real time, and I think everyone should take it serious. I know us as black people like to feel like we Superman, and I get it. I was talking to my auntie about it. I'm like, don't do that, because she like to do that. We was laughing the other day. She wanted to pick up this couch, and I was telling her how to pick it up. She wasn't listening because she thought she was Superwoman. And then she picked it up. She was like, oh, maybe I should do that. And we started laughing because that's how she is. She thinks she can just get through it. And it's understandable. But nah, like, you got to take it serious. This is real. This is not like something else. So don't minimize it. And you may make it through, and your people may make it through. And we may get up out of this, and God willing, no one in your family dies or pass away or seriously affected by this. But there's a lot of families that are, and I think it's irresponsible and apathetic to minimize someone else's pain because it didn't happen to you. So since it didn't happen to you, something that's made up or something that's exaggerated. Let me tell you this: you ain't never known this country to just give up money for something that's exaggerated. They just passed a $2 trillion bill that starts at $2 trillion, that go up to $6.5 trillion. You think they passed that and giving it to us and then other small businesses in the travel industry because it's exaggerated? You think if they thought it was as exaggerated, Republicans would do that? Come on, be real with yourself, man. Be real with yourself. Ain't nobody doing that. They ain't trying to give us nothing. Let somebody go over there and say, we want reparations. You see, after Kamala Harris and Cory Booker left, when was the last time you heard about reparations? Because they don't give it. They ain't giving up no money. You think they want to do this? No, they know this needs to happen or we're going to be effed. This is real, man. Don't act like it's not. Just because you ain't up on it. If you ain't up on it, get up on it. But don't speak on something you don't know about. You know what I'm saying? You speaking on how you feel about it because of whatever. Look up on it. This is real, man. You got a lot of real people dying. We got families on here, black families dying. A lot of these states don't have the infrastructure that you have in LA and in New York and in all these big states, these big metropolitan cities. They don't have the infrastructure. They don't have the health care. Look, Flint is going up right now. Detroit is poised to be doing bad. They can't even fix the water in Flint. They don't have health care there. That's one of the poorest cities in this country. You think a lot of those people that's insecure about health care and normally don't go to the doctor because they don't know how they're going to pay it, going to have a cough and say, oh, I got the corona. They're going to try to ride that out. You're going to have a whole lot of people dying because of that. So don't just speak on something that you don't know about because you don't know. People are dying, and this is real. Just because it ain't happened to you, thank God. But don't minimize somebody else's experience because it ain't happened to you to say it's something else. Government ain't never just gave money out for an exaggeration, period. You got Republicans and Democrats agreeing on something. It's not no exaggeration, man. You saw how they was fighting on the impeachment. You think they'll give you $2 trillion? Come on, bro. Get it together. Anyway, to the man of the hour, Joe Biden. Now, there's been a lot of distractions. I don't want to say distractions. This is something real. The coronavirus is real. but it's been consuming our media waves, the news. That's all we've been talking about. Underneath that, in addition to, and it's probably understandable, a lot of people, a lot of black people, a lot of poor people, it's hard to deal with a coronavirus when I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to feed my kid, how I'm figure out how I'm going to pay my bills. I can't be preoccupied with coronavirus. I ain't tripping on that because I'm worried about eating tonight. I'm worried about my kid making it home tonight, so it's a whole lot of other issues that can distract people from this thing. And because this thing is such an epidemic and it is consuming the airwaves, there's a lot of other news that slide up under the radar. And it may seem unintentional, but it's very intentional. One is about our prospective Democratic nominee for president of these United States. Joe Biden is in the news because he had a Me Too moment. And guess what? Me Too said time's up on believing women because we ain't helping you. We don't care what Biden did. So I want you to see this this clip from The Hill. The Hill is, I get a lot of resources from The Hill. I love them. And then we're going to talk about a crystal ball. And I always forget the other guy's name, but he kind of went off. He sounded like me. Tyra, no, that's the lady. Tyra Red. I can't forget. You'll see the guy. Let's watch this, and then we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about it. So, Joe Biden. Let me read the title of this article so that you guys can have some context. This is from The Intercept, very credible, by Ryan Grim. I used to work with Ryan Grim. He was a contributor for the Young Turks when I was there. He's a White House correspondent, I think, for The Intercept. Very amazing journalist, very inquisitive, very curious. That's what I love about him. He's not Jake Tapper. Every time I see Jake Tapper, I'm like, I'm sure you wanted to be an actor and didn't make it and fell into journalism, huh? Because the questions he'd be asking, I'd be like, what are you talking about? But anyway, this ain't about Jake Tapper of CNN. But anyway, The Intercept. Time's Up. Remember, Time's Up was the organization. Time's up for men. Time's up for men using their power to treat women a certain way, to sexually harass women. Where's that energy? When it comes to Joe Biden, where that energy at? Huh? Where that energy? Y'all had it for R. Kelly. Y'all had it for Michael. And I'm not bringing them up to say that they didn't do it or trying to question if they did it or not. But where's that same energy for Joe Biden? Time's Up said it could not fund a hashtag Me Too allegation against Joe Biden, citing its nonprofit status and his presidential run, saying if they go against the president, it'll mess up their 501c3. A 501c3 makes it where you can endorse a candidate. It doesn't make it where you cannot talk about the news. Are you stupid? But as we will find out, someone that's on the chair of his campaign is actually one of the, I think either works for Time's Up or is on their board as well. But let's look at this and we'll get into it. Oh, man. I didn't even go to the, this is what I just read. This is the title. Ryan Grim, The Intercept, Joe Biden. Time's Up said it could not fund a hashtag Me Too allegation against Joe Biden, citing its nonprofit status and his presidential run. You cannot, as a 501c3, you can't endorse a political candidate because it's a nonprofit. We're not endorsing anyone. But this is what happens, and you'll find out that, Katie Halper did a really good interview. If you guys get a chance to watch it. Where's Katie Halper's? Katie Halper did she did like a podcast and she interviewed Tara Reid, which is a lady that alleges that he assaulted her. She used to work for his campaign, work for his administration in '93. But let's see, where is that? Katie Halper, I just had that. I don't know. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see if it's over here. It's somewhere. Katie Halper, where you at? I went through all this already. Okay, there you go. It's okay. So let's watch this video, then we'll get into it.
All right, Crystal, what's on your radar?
Well, as you may know, yesterday on Rising, we interviewed Tara Reade about her time working as an aide to Joe Biden. Tara alleges that then Senator Biden sexually assaulted her in the early 90s when she was a young staffer. Here's what she told us, and warning, this may be upsetting for some.
We were in a semi-private place. It wasn't completely private. He was at first talking to someone. They went away, and then he said, "Come here." And then when I gave him the gym bag, it happened all in one motion almost. And he had me against the wall. And then his hands were down my skirt and up my skirt. And I was wearing, I wasn't wearing tights or anything. And he then, with his hand, went from there and entered me with his hand, and as he was trying to kiss me and saying things to me. So when I tell you what happened, it's hard because everything kind of happened at once, but there were incremental parts to it.
Mm-hmm.
And meaning he was trying to kiss me and I was pulling away. And what I remember of that time is feeling really shocked, surprised, because there was no real conversation right beforehand. There was no precursor. It just happened. And then when he did that, I was obviously pulling away. And he pulled back and said, "Come on, man, I heard you liked me." Something to that effect. And that's what kind of jolted me. Like I was trying to think what I did wrong to bring that on to me. And then he looked angry and irritated with me. And that's when I knew it was really, I was in a very difficult position.
Now, as with so many of these situations, there are no witnesses. It's a classic he said, she said, which makes it, of course, incredibly hard to confirm or deny, and Hill TV has been unable to independently verify her story. That doesn't mean she has no corroboration. Significantly, she did tell several people at the time, and the basic facts surrounding her story, including that she did, in fact, work with Biden at the time, appear to be accurate. But the question and objection I keep hearing raised is this one. Why now? Why come in at the 11th hour when Joe Biden is on the verge of clinching the Democratic nomination?
Who does that sound like, right quick? Just sidebar. Who does that sound like? Think what establishment Democrats are saying right now. Why now? Why now? You know who said that? Republicans said that when Brett Kavanaugh, when those women came for Brett Kavanaugh, they was asking Democrats, why now? Why now? All of a sudden, Democrats have that energy. Why now? Really? Me too? Don't we supposed to believe women? At least investigate it? And y'all have that's why I told y'all Democrats are just like Republicans, period, point blank. Why now? They got the same language that Republicans had when the doctor came and accused him. They said, why now? All of a sudden. Amazing. Just amazing. No shame. Democrats have no shame.
Nomination. The question, of course, is meant to undermine the claim and cast it as politically motivated. The more Red Scare conspiracy-minded have taken that even one step further, going full Russian agent on Tara based on a Russia-friendly blog post that she wrote, as if her views on Russia remotely relate to Joe Biden's actions on that day in the 90s, as if it's not far more preposterous to imagine that Tara Reade is some Kremlin agent than that a powerful man committed an egregious act. But the story of why now is actually incredibly telling. It says everything about how our elite institutions routinely cover for powerful men. It says everything about why so many women don't come forward at all. Because according to Tara and according to Ryan Grimm's reporting, Tara has been trying to come forward for months. Tara initially came forward in a limited fashion after Lucy Flores wrote an op-ed claiming that Joe Biden made her deeply uncomfortable at an event when he sniffed her hair and kissed the back of her head. Now, naturally, Tara was attacked and her character smeared, which gave her justifiable pause about sharing the full nature of her allegations. But she did decide to persist anyway and tell her full story, including her allegation of sexual assault. And so she did something very logical. She took it to the organization that was supposed to be set up to assist cases exactly like hers, Time's Up. Now, Time's Up Legal Defense Fund says on their website, this fund helps workers connect with lawyers and bring cases of workplace sexual harassment and related retaliation, regardless of industry, rank, or role. But somehow, that blanket statement included an unstated loophole that Tara's claim fell right through. According to Tara, and again according to Ryan's reporting, after initial interest, Time's Up walked away, claiming that taking on a claim against a candidate for office could jeopardize their nonprofit status. An incredibly conservative reading of the law that was contradicted by other lawyers and would mean that Time's Up is effectively giving a free pass to every powerful man who happens to also be a candidate for office. Oh, and there's one more thing that you should probably know. Time's Up's PR is handled by SKD Knickerbocker, which happens to be run by Joe Biden's campaign manager, Anita Dunn. You see, there's a powerful club here in this town, and you're not in it, and neither is Tara. Tara says she tried to get her story out other ways, too. She wrote to Elizabeth Warren's office and Kamala Harris as well. She heard nothing back from Kamala and got a standard form letter back from Warren. Two women who, of course, heavily ran on their gender and what their election would represent for women. And then there's the media. Tara wasn't exactly hard to find. After Ryan's article and Katie's interview, I reached out to her separately on Twitter. I heard back within minutes. I'll be honest, I didn't want Rising to be the first on-camera interview for Tara, and I know from speaking with Katie that she didn't want to be the first podcast interview with Tara. Obviously, Katie and I are both seen as friendly to Bernie, which means in the mainstream world that we can't be trusted. I thought Tara deserved a full vetting and a fair hearing from a mainstream outlet. But as I reached out to mainstream folks that I know to see if they were interested in breaking this bombshell story, I heard back crickets. Nothing. No one seemed to want to touch it. Tara says she too had tried to get a hearing from mainstream journalists only to come up empty. Now ask yourself, if a claim like this had been made against Bernie Sanders or even Donald Trump or another media villain like Edward Snowden, do you think that the accuser would have had any trouble getting press? Do you think it would fall to independent and alternative news to break the story if a woman who worked with Bernie in the 90s made a credible claim of sexual assault? Do you think CNN and MSNBC would bury their heads in the sand? Nope. Every reporter in this town would be breaking down their door to be the first to tell that story. Coverage would be wall to wall. Remember when Elizabeth Warren claimed Bernie was a secret sexist and these establishment types disgustingly co-opted the Believe Women hashtag to take Warren's side in her highly unlikely claim? Well, where are all those folks now? I believe Tara is trending.
Look at that. Where are they now? Why aren't we believing women now? Where is that energy now? This is what I'm talking about. I had a conversation with a journalist when I was in where was I? I was in Michigan for the primaries a couple of weeks ago. And I was talking to him about, the primaries and, how I wanted Bernie to win and things like that. And, I didn't like Biden lying. And he was just like, oh, it's political. That's what they do. As if it was okay. I'm like, this is why black people don't vote right now. Because it ain't okay with them. We've been sick and tired of people lying to us and pandering to us. Oh, pandering is, excuse me. He came at me like pandering is just a part of it. Grab that. You see him. Pandering is just a part of it. That's how he came at me like pandering was just something. Pandering is a part of it. That's just politics. We accept it. Why? Why do we have to accept it? That stuff make people just don't want to deal with politics because you feel like people are lying to you. Don't nobody want to be lied to. Just because that's how it is doesn't make it okay. Why do I have to accept that? And it just tripped me out. And he's a friend of mine. I like him. He's a good guy. But it's okay now? It's just everybody panders? Nah, people are tired of being lied to. And that's why a lot of people are disheartened and discouraged about with politics because they're like, no, they just lying. They're going to get in office and they're going to do the same thing the other person did. And that's what happens because it's just politics. People ain't trying to deal with politics when they got to pay their rent. When they making only $12 an hour or whatever they making, and they're unable to do the things that they want to do because it's okay, man. Because people are just playing politics with their life. This is real life out here. And it's okay for candidates to play politics. We got Trump because of politics. And that's okay with you? Come on, man. Y'all out here tripping. For real, for real. And I took my medication. Y'all got me going off.
On Twitter, and all the blue checks and gender warriors are nowhere to be found. How incredibly convenient. Their principles seem to have abandoned them now that it threatens their access to the Biden campaign and ability to grift off their coziness and proximity to power. We've, of course, seen this pattern time and time again, whether it was NBC shutting down Ronan Farrow and his Harvey Weinstein reporting. Remember how, according to Ronan, Hillary's aide threatened his access if he didn't drop the story? Or Amy Robach explaining on a hot mic that she had everything on the Epstein story, but that ABC was afraid they'd lose their Will and Kate Royals access because of Epstein's connection to Prince Andrew. They'll happily trash the dude who's stockpiling Purell or the random lawyer on Twitter who put out an objectionable tweet. They'll gladly provide a venue for allegations against the outsiders upon whom their status and access do not depend. But they've got to be dragged kicking and screaming to do their job when it comes to their own ideological and class brethren. So look, Tara's claim against Joe Biden should be scrutinized. It should be fully vetted, and people can decide for themselves what they think. But drop the why now. Because the truth is, she's been doing everything she could think of to be heard. This is just the first time anyone bothered to listen. Saagar, this is something we've been talking about on the show for a while. Yeah. The way the media works to cover up for powerful men, who they decide to feature and go after and who they don't. And it is remarkable that we end up sort of at the center of one of these same stories.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, you know, Brett Kavanaugh couldn't sneeze on somebody in 1982 without it ending up in the New Yorker as a credible allegation. And then this woman comes forward, talks to us for 20 minutes, talks to Katie Halper, has at least, you know, talked to somebody. It deserves vetting from a multi-million-dollar news organization.
And by the way,
you think?
Who broke the Kavanaugh story?
Yeah,
Ryan Graham. They found him credible enough to dig in on that story. But on this story, when he talks about, you know, time's up, taking a pass, they pretend that they don't see it or hear it.
Always looked at Ryan's reporting, which is only whenever it's convenient will they pick it up. But when Pete Buttigieg fakes black endorsements, no, you can't talk about that.
Can't talk about that. That's not important enough for us.
Because he's an actual honest actor. And then this demonstrates that the fact that she's not on CNN or MSNBC, I mean, look, just close your eyes. What if this was Donald Trump? You know exactly what it would be. Right?
Imagine if it was Bernie.
Imagine if it was Bernie.
We had news cycle after news cycle, and somebody pointed this out on Twitter about whether Bernie said something secretly in a private conversation to Elizabeth Warren. That garnered wall-to-wall news coverage. I haven't seen one mainstream outlet pick it up yet.
I just don't believe that Time's Up would not take it if it was Bernie or if it was a Republican. I just don't believe them. And then that's the thing is we know that they use all their intertwined, interconnected, you know, things, interconnected power structures like Time's Up and SKD Knickerbocker and the co-chair of the Biden campaign, communications director for the Obama White House. I think she even worked in the Weinstein case in some capacity. There you go. That's what this whole thing is, an interconnected web of lies. And it's all created in order to keep out whoever needs to be kept out and then bubble up the stories that need to be in order to take out the people that they think are deserving to be taken out.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Harvey Weinstein doesn't deserve to be taken out, but like it took a long time for those stories to bubble up outside of those power centers for a reason. That's actually more of what the Weinstein story is, not just how we probably want is parody. Is parody for claims, like I said, leveled against Brett Kavanaugh, who like sneezed on somebody, and that gets the Ronan Farrow treatment in the New Yorker, and Tara Reid is out here talking to Katie Halper and us on like we don't have the same resources as they do.
Right.
Why don't you treat them the same way? Investigate. If it's not true, okay, find out. If it is true, find that out too.
But you basically have to force them to do their job. You have to put it in there like Tara didn't exist, which is exactly what was happening. And so to take this back to, why women don't come forward and why is she doing this now? This was what my Twitter timeline was. Well, why now? Why, at this late date when Joe Biden is on the verge of winning the nomination? Well, why now? It's because it's the first time that anyone bothered to actually listen to her. She wanted to tell this story for months, but this town was invested in plugging their ears and pretending that they couldn't hear or see what she was trying to say.
Just one last note on this. The fact that she reached out to the Kamala Harris and Elizabeth Warren, these were the chief, impeach Kavanaugh people, jumped on fake news reports in order to justify that. All the Believe Women talk, all that. Yeah, pretty form letter. Okay?
Yeah.
That tells you everything you need to know about how empty their gender
Yet to hear
is.
from Alyssa Milano or Kirsten Gillibrand or any of these people on any of this.
These people are fake.
We'll keep you posted. All right, Sandra,
Those
looking
people
forward
are
to your
fake. Period. You hear that frustration in his voice? That's me right there. Those people are fake. That's it. Excuse me. Those people are fake. That's it. That's it. You can say it in one sentence. Those people are fake. They don't care about women. They only care about women when it benefits them. Period. Think about that. They're asking the same questions. Why now? Why? Republicans were asking Democrats this when Brett Kavanaugh. Mind you, what they said, just in case you missed it, the same reporter, Ryan Grimm, let me just go here so y'all can see it. The same reporter, Ryan Grimm, that broke the story of Brett Kavanaugh, that had everybody up, all Democrats up, having them go to speak in front of Congress. The same reporter that broke that story broke this story. Same reporter. He was credible then, and now all of a sudden, can't nobody. Why now? Why now? It's fake. It's all fake, bro. And if you guys are discouraged, who will benefit their lifestyle, what they want to do, that's why they wanted Bernie out of there, because they knew Bernie was going to knock it all down. Period. It's crazy. It's all fake. Like he said, it's all fake. And he was hot about it. Because it is. It's all fake. I got a little clip. I don't know if y'all happen to see Joe Biden today. He had he had a town hall on CNN talking about the coronavirus. And there was a couple of things that he said. I just want to go through some things because they asked him questions like about what are we going to do as far as, small businesses. Talking about the money that it costs. My cat is for real. I thought he saw a rat or something initially because he was just hiding and running. I'm like, do he see something? Get him. But he ain't doing nothing. He just on crack. His mama used to smoke crack. You know how he probably, when you have a crack baby, the mama smoke crack and then the baby get the crack habits. I think Twin got crack habits. But it just lets you know about the Democratic Party. That's why I'm not. I don't care. For me, I think people got to earn. You're going to have to earn my vote. I write Bernie's name in. You're going to have to earn my vote. Period. Call it what you want. People didn't die. Martin Luther King didn't die. Other people that's unnamed didn't die. Malcolm X didn't die for me to just vote. It was for me to vote my conscience. And I'm not voting my conscience for people that's fake and that just do things that benefit them. Y'all ain't heard of this lady since she talked about her. She talked to, if you guys what they were just saying, she brought what happened to her up initially, when Biden first started his campaign. She brought it up and said, this is what Biden did to me when a girl, because they was talking about how he touched on people's hair. If you guys don't have this background, you should Google it. And Biden has an issue with space. He likes to touch. And so she came out and only told half her story because she said that, they were trying to silence her. So now she's telling the whole story. And mind you, she worked for Biden. This is not something, this happened at school. No, she worked for Biden. He was in Congress. She was a part of his administration. And now those same Democrats that when Brett Kavanaugh, that made sure we held out, that said, no, we need to do an investigation because it's important, are asking the same questions that Republicans was asking. Why now? It's phony, and that shit is frustrating. It make you just want to say F it because you know they all fake. They have no morals. They stand for nothing. The only thing they stand for is themselves. They don't stand for the people. They have to do this. This benefit them as well. And what I'm speaking of, my aunt told me, Ty, when you go to another subject, you should preface that. And I just went to another subject and I just realized it. The $2 trillion stimulus plan, they put that in because they know it will, because what's happening right now affects the entire economy and it affects them. Since Trump's been in office, it's been 3 years. Republicans and Democrats haven't been able to agree on nothing. Nothing. There's no exceptions. This is the first exception. Going into the second term, all of a sudden they all agree on something, and then all of them go against one Republican that said, oh, we need to have an actual physical vote. And they all, even President Trump, went at this. I can't remember the Republican's name, but he sounds stupid, and they played him too. All of a sudden, I think it was 94 votes to 1. I forgot how many. Everybody voted for it, for the stimulus plan, for the $2 trillion up to $6.5 trillion. Everybody voted in favor, all of them. This is the first time since Trump been in office. You know why? Because they know if this shit tanks, they will tank too. All of them. Because all of them have the same people in their pockets. And those people that are in their pockets say, you need to pass this because we need that money. Because no one's traveling. I just came from LA. Maybe on the whim, I've been able to get like a ticket from LA, like a one-way ticket from LA. I have been able, like Tuesday night, maybe like Wednesday morning, early 2 o'clock in the morning. If I go and look on Expedia, I'll probably find a ticket for like $189 from like New York to LA or LA to New York. That's happened to me twice. My ticket yesterday from Los Angeles to New York, $25. My bags cost more to come to New York than my body because no one's flying. Period. It's costing the airlines more to fly me out here. They're not making nothing. $24 is what it costs. 24 something. For me to fly from Los Angeles, California, LAX to Newark. What's the airport that's out here? LaGuardia. LaGuardia ain't taking any landings. So they was like, could no one land there? So I had to fly to Newark. $24 and change. It's a real thing, this economy and what's happening. And it was bipartisan. It's not that they care about the people, man. Please don't get it twisted. I just want to make sure y'all don't get it twisted. Oh, they finally agreed on something because the people needed it. I guarantee if it was just the people that would have been affected by this, you would have been on your own. Period, point blank. You would have been on your own. They were affected. Their sponsors, the people that sponsor their campaign, that give money, are affected. Every business, whether you're a small business or a large business, is affected by this. And so that's why I was bipartisan. Period. They haven't agreed on nothing. They agreed on this because they all have interest in it. So I just don't want you to be fooled to think that they really care about you, because they don't. They care about themselves. And if somehow caring about themselves parallel with the idea of caring about you, They'll take it. Why not? They're not going to campaign against it. They lie about it all the time. That's why people are frustrated. That's why Trump is in office right now, is because people feel like they've been lied to. That's why Bernie is running for a second term, and people feel away because people feel like they've been lied to on both sides. So please don't misunderstand Democrats. You ain't got to misunderstand Republicans. Republicans, oh, well, you can probably misunderstand Republicans with the stimulus that they have because it ain't something that they're for. You know, Republicans, come on, man. Historically speaking, they're not for this. It's because they have to, because their people need it. And so, Me Too is fake. They don't care about women. I care about women. I care especially if women have been assaulted. Me Too don't. And if any Biden supporter or Democrat establishment, whatever, right is right and wrong is wrong, period, point blank. You can't argue this fact, period. So if you want to say why now, why didn't you say that with Brett Kavanaugh? Because you was saying the same thing I'm saying to you. You were saying to Republicans when they was asking you why now. You know why now? You were saying that because it wasn't about the doctor. I can't think of her name, but it wasn't about her. It was about you getting the person that you wanted as a Supreme Court justice that you wanted in office. That fit the idea of where you thought this country should go. Period. It's all fake. And you can see, oh boy, was hella frustrated when it's all fake. And people get frustrated. Black people frustrated. They don't vote as much. I guarantee, I don't want to guarantee, but I bet you a lot of Latinos that are voting right now, this is the first time that they've been spoken to. And that's why they're voting. And that shit feel good when you feel like somebody's speaking to your issues. And that was Bernie Sanders. But you know why Biden ain't getting their support? Because Biden never wanted to at any moment speak to their issues. And he didn't. Period. And now that Bernie may not have a pathway, Latinos are going to see that it's the same thing. It's the same. I mean, they see it right now as soon as Trump got in office. But that was Republicans, though. That was Republicans. So it's hard to say, oh, this is Democrats, because the Republicans said, okay, F what Obama did as far as promising you, the dreamers, promising you that you have a pathway to citizenship. So it's easy to chalk that up. Oh, that's Republicans. They're racist. They don't like whatever. Whoop-de-whoop, bam, bam. It's easy to do that, because it's Republicans. They've never been inclusive. They never even promoted inclusive. I'd rather deal with an enemy that let me know who they are versus someone that lies behind my back. I can deal with someone because I know how to approach them. When I got somebody being deceiving and saying they want to do this, but then you understand they're either parallel or worse than your enemies because they lie to you and deceive you, and you trust them, and you give them everything in your pocket, and you give them your vote. You black people, that didn't come free. Every time you go to that ballot box and you vote for a candidate, understand that vote was given with blood. You guys try to get mad at young people because they don't go out and vote and say people died for your vote. People died for your vote too. And they didn't die for you to vote just for the exercise of voting and getting someone in office just because they're better than the person that's in office now. They marched, they died, they got beat, they got sprayed with water hoses because they believed in something. And they wanted their vote to count based on what they believe. And you, Kamala Harris, and you, Elizabeth Warren, that act like y'all champion women and won't even hear her out, investigate it. See the story. Look at it. See if it holds up. You didn't even do that. You didn't even do that. I'm not surprised by Kamala Harris For real. And honestly, to keep it 100, I'm not surprised by Elizabeth Warren either. I can tell by how she was acting that you know, I mean, I've been knew about when Elizabeth Warren didn't say anything about what was going on in No Dapple in North Dakota until after Obama put out a statement about the wrongdoing, about the water hoses, about how it was unconstitutional. She said nothing, and while claiming to be Native American, didn't say anything. Because right is right and wrong is wrong. I already knew who she was. When she endorsed Hillary instead of Bernie, when she claimed to be a progressive, I already knew who she was. I'm from Cali. I'm from LA, so I know who Kamala Harris is. Period. So I'm not surprised by it, but I want y'all to get it. Because this is what's going on. This is fake. It's fake. They fake. They all fake. Tara Reid don't deserve to at least have her story vetted. She don't deserve that. She don't deserve somebody to look into it. Kamala Harris' office didn't even respond to her. And she got a makeshift fake. You know how when I don't know if you guys are on Indeed or LinkedIn or any type of or you fill out an application for a job online. As soon as you fill out the application, you submit it, you get an immediate email. Do not reply, and it just lets you know that they received it, and they'll get back at you if they like it. It's just something that automatic email. That's all that she received from Elizabeth Warren. It was an automatic email, an automatic response, and they want you to believe women. Don't be stupid, y'all, please. I mean, but you know. Some people are diligent and some people isn't. You got to accept what it is. But, you know, I'm not going to say complain. Sometimes it takes it takes a while for people to learn. You make a mistake, you bump your head, and then you learn. Hopefully you Django's out there learn when you vote. Because I'm not voting for Biden. And anybody that asks my advice on it, I'm going to tell them don't vote for Biden. I don't want Trump in office. If Biden happened to win, hey, At least we won't be as anxious. You know why? Because he'll just throw that veil over all the bullshit. Because only thing that Trump really did is just take the veil away. Everything that Trump does right now has been done. He told you that when he ran. Hey, I gave money to them. I know I have access. That's the only reason I gave money. He told you that when he ran. I give money so I can have access to what I want to do. Period. So, hopefully y'all learn after this. You know what I'm saying? But I already know. And I ain't voting. You guys better look up Biden's history. He lied about being active in civil rights. He plagiarized 3 speeches. He stole JFK's speech. He stole his brother's speech, Robert Kennedy's speech. And he stole some political guy from Europe's speech. And that's why he had to drop out of the 1988 elections. He told Obama that the only reason he was winning in 2008, because Biden then ran again for president in 2008 after he lost in 88. He ran, this is his 3rd presidential run. So he ran in 2008, and he said the reason why Obama was winning because for some reason, with all that civil rights stuff he was doing, he forgot that Martin Luther King was one of the most clean, black, articulate people. Jesse Jackson was clean, black, and articulate that actually ran for president. But no, because he sees us as niggas. He said the reason why Obama was winning because he's the first clean, black, articulate politician, and that's why he was winning in 2008. That's how I feel about you niggas. Matter of fact, now since I brought it up, I'm going to go ahead and find it. I literally just took it off of this thing, too. I wish I would have kept it on. It's somewhere in here. Ooh. Because y'all need to see it. But y'all going to do what y'all going to do. I love black. I'm patient with black people because I understand how y'all can be fooled. Because y'all want it so bad. And I remember back in the day when I didn't pay attention either. I didn't start voting on my mama. The first time I ever voted in my life, I was raised in Compton. Ain't nobody I know voted. Nobody, because we always knew. we're at the bottom of the totem pole. So whatever happens based on the president being there, it ain't gonna affect us because we all the way down there. We already affected. So whatever happens because of a president won't even touch us because we at the bottom of the bottom. So we never voted. My first time voting was in 2016. First time ever voting in my life. And plus I went to jail, so I had some felonies and I couldn't vote for like 7 years. And so I thought, I didn't. It's like when you used to not vote and you just don't vote and you don't even think about it. So you just don't do it because you're not used to it being a part of your life. And once I started working for Brave New Film, I started to really appreciate what people sacrificed for me to be able to vote. And then it became more than just me. And, I have a tattoo of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X on my forearm right here. Y'all can probably see it. Show y'all. Ooh. Hold on. I got a tattoo of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King on my forearm. You probably can't see it from there, but it's a man. It's a tree, right? It's a man hanging from a tree, right here. Then you got Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, and then it's words that lead up to the tree where the man is hanging from the tree, and it says, "Never take for granted the sacrifices made for you." Never take for granted the sacrifices made for you. And when I got it, I was thinking about the yin and the yang, Growing up, because Malcolm X was way more aggressive and he spoke his mind, and I felt like he wasn't, I was young, Uncle Tomming or pandering, that he just said it because that's how it was. And so I favored Malcolm X over Martin Luther King. As I got older, I started to have more of an appreciation for Martin Luther King because Martin Luther King, in addition to becoming more radical and having a more radical stance before he was assassinated, he the one was really, really, really on the front lines when I was younger. I thought, and this is not comparing one to the other, but I'm just telling you my evolution. What I realized is that, what? Back in those days, it was way safer to be in New York and talk that shit than it was to be in the South and talk that shit. And Martin Luther King was in the South. And he wasn't even talking you couldn't go against the grain in the South at all. That's why he was so polite and nice, because even when he was going against the grain, he had to be hella respectful because they was going to kill him even being respectful and throwing rocks at him. Imagine if he was disrespectful and going against it, abrasive and Bogart and like Martin Luther King. Psst, they wouldn't have had no problem with it. He probably wouldn't have lasted as long as he did. And so what I started to appreciate, like, man, he was on the front line. Because when he went out and protested, he protested right after somebody just got killed in that same spot he was walking in. Knowing that those Southern laws and Jim Crow allow people to kill without any prosecution at all. And if they did get prosecution, there was no convictions at all. And he wrote that out. So he was on the front line for real. I mean, like, sacrificing your life. He sacrificed his life way more than Malcolm X. But I only say that to say this, is that Malcolm X's aggression was needed. Because white people are scared of black people, especially back then when they get aggressive. Oh, they rioting, see what I did, you still rioting? See, so you need that. You need the person over there that's saying, F that, we burning everything down. And then you need the person that's in the office with them saying, look, this is what we need to do. You need the yin and the yang. The aggressor is going to make them move faster. And the one that's more that has a more rational approach. I'm talking about just articulating what he wants, is in the office so he can say, look, this is what's going on. Because they both were saying the same thing. They was just going about it different ways. And you need that yin and the yang. We wouldn't be where we are without Malcolm X or Martin Luther King, period. We needed both of them, and I love them both equally. I'm just telling you guys my evolution. And so they didn't die, because if that was the case, only thing, they didn't really have to die. if you could partner with a white Southern sympathizer like Biden is, Biden wanted to make Delaware a Southern state, get it right. If you can sympathize with them, then you just vote wherever the white people want you to vote. Guess what? They would have let you vote because then that represents more of what they want to do. If you as a black person wanted to make sure that we kept segregation in the South, they would have let you vote. They wouldn't have killed you when you went to the voting polls like they did after the Civil Rights Act was put in place. They wouldn't have threatened you after emancipation when we had Reconstruction and you had the most black people that you ever seen in Congress in this country's history right after emancipation. They wouldn't have sabotaged that if you were voting for their interests. So they want you to vote your morals and what's right and not what's politically expedient, what's comfortable, or what best benefits you. Because Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, Emmett Till, so many others. I'm trying to think of, I can't think of his name. He died right before Malcolm X, in the late 59. Shoot, he was a reverend. But those people didn't die so that you can fold to a party, because none of those parties agree with them. They died so you can vote your interest, the interest of black people. Not saying, oh, he's the best person that can beat Trump. Or I'm not going to be diligent, but, oh, the Democrats are the ones that's been riding for, so we're voting Democrat. If you guys didn't know, those Dixiecrats, those Southern separatists, they all were Democrat. The Democrat Party didn't change until, I think what I was telling you about the 60s, when the LBJ tried to change the party in Bogart. That's when all the Southern Democrats went to the Republican Party. FYI. You guys can have an understanding that those Democrats, and I'm not saying Democrats haven't done things good, but it's never been in the interest of you wholly, of their constituents wholly. Because even now, when their constituents represent more of what we need, they do more of what's best for their political careers or their main donors, period. Period, point blank. So I don't want you guys to be confused. Okay, don't think that Obama I don't want you to feel that, oh man. I don't want you to feel that, Obama chose, you know why Obama chose Joe Biden? Because Obama really wasn't sure, you know what, are these white Midwestern, some of these white Southerns ready for a black person? Because he understood that New York, LA, West Coast, East Coast, it's a bubble. The majority of the country is in the middle. And they ain't where we are. He understood that. So he needed someone that can validate him to those Midwestern people and those Southerners to say, okay, maybe it's okay to vote for this black person. That's why he got Joe Biden. Period. It was political. Please understand that. If you don't understand anything else I say, understand that Joe Biden's, his pick, Joe Biden, was political. That's middle class Joe. Middle class Joe. He can get that white middle class. That's why when you look at the news and they talk about white middle class, the black vote, the Latino vote, although they have us all in categories. Period. As if we're all a monolith. Unless you're white, you know. Well, black, you're African American. Latino, you're Latino, Hispanic, whatever they got on those things you fill out. Your census, everybody got to do your census, so do your census. All those, you'll see, any minority, you're specified. If you're white, it just says Caucasian. Don't ask if you're Italian American, Irish American, Russian American. They're all in the white group. So they're good. They're supposed to be here. They let us here. They let us in. But with them, that's theirs. That's why they have this That's why that arrogance that you see, that entitlement that you witness when you talk to a white person or someone that's white and even know what they did to Native Americans to take this country as their own and try to say, oh, these other people can't come in. That's entitlement because they feel that way because the system was made for them to feel at home. This is their home. We died and sacrificed in the Revolutionary War, so this can be your home. F them who was here before us. It's ours. And so you dictate who you want here and who you don't want here. And that's how they feel. That's how they feel about the entire thing. Can you be mad? You could be. But if you want to be mad, if you want to do something, you know what I would do if you're mad? Let Democrats know that they have to earn your vote. That they're not going to just pander to you and then just get your vote because you're going to come in on the fourth quarter and just vote for whoever CNN or MSNBC or whoever you think is for you tell you to vote for. If you want them to hear you, vote for somebody else. Do what you did in 2016 because they knew Hillary was going to win. In 2008, they knew Hillary was going to win. I mean, in 2004, they knew Kerry was going to win. So if you want to honor Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, all those people that died, not for themselves, but for you, for their children, for the generations after them, to not have to suffer through what they suffered through. If you want to honor them, pay attention and vote for the best thing for the people. And send a notice to Democrats that we're done being your suckers. Because the only way you're going to grow is you continue to do it. I can only become a better editor, a better director if I do it every day. A writer, I have to write every day. If I want to be a painter, I have to paint every day. I can't just not paint, and then in 4 years paint and think I'm going to be good. No. You got to do it and do it until you're great. So as independents, as people that want things our way, if we want a third party, we need to continue to vote against Democrats, vote against Democrats, vote against Democrats, vote against Democrats until we get what we want. You know what I'm saying? It's a sacrifice. Everything that's worth anything, you have to sacrifice for it. And you got to be willing. You got to be willing to sacrifice who you are for who you can be. Sacrifice who this country is for who it can be. There's nothing that you can say in reference to Biden that he's done to address any black issues, period, in his history, period.
Bobby Rush, member of Congress, said the other day, I'm ashamed that I voted for the 94 crime bill. You ashamed of that bill?
Not at all. In fact, I drafted the bill.
Ooh. You said you were arrested when you were with Mandela. I don't think so.
Joe Biden has recently been telling voters that he was once arrested trying to see Nelson Mandela.
Nelson Mandela walked out of prison and entered into discussions about apartheid. I had the great honor of meeting him. I had the great honor of being arrested with our UN ambassador on the streets of Soweto trying to get to see him on Robbins Island.
I came back from South Africa trying to see Nelson Mandela and getting arrested.
You say that you were trained to be a protester and suffered. We don't think so.
Like many of you, I participated in sit-ins to desegregate the restaurants and movie houses.
When I was a teenager in Delaware, for real, I got involved in the civil rights movement.
And the New York Times reports, quote, more than once, advisors had gently reminded Mr. Biden of the problem with this formulation. He had not actually marched during the civil rights movement.
When I marched in the civil rights movement, I marched with tens of thousands of others to change attitudes.
But he never actually marched in the civil rights movement at all.
Will pay any price, bear any burden, accept any challenge, and meet any hardship to secure the blessings of prosperity. We shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe, to assure the survival and the success of liberty.
I did not know that was a Robert Kennedy quote.
The thing about Joe Biden, though, when he gaffes, because we all know he does, you never believe he's lying.
Goddamn pickaninny. You like that last video? Follow us. The one thing about Joe is when he gaffes. Oh, Lord. So I want you guys to think about that, man, because they should earn your vote. Don't feel like you can't sacrifice. Okay? If Trump wins another term, guess what? It's not your fault. It's the Democrats' fault for trying to bully someone else in the office that doesn't deserve to be there. That's not for the people. When you a you know what a representative does? They represent the ideas and thoughts and the wants and needs of their constituents. Period. Not their donors. But that's what a lot of politicians do. They try to get in office so that they can have influence and then at some point be able to do favors so when they get out of office, they can be on the board or the chair of some Fortune 500 company. They all do it. Hillary Clinton, $250 for our speech to Wall Street. Come on, man. We have to hold their feet to the fire. We have to hold them accountable. The reason that Civil Rights Act happened, the reason that Title IX happened, the reason that emancipation happened, the reason that the Revolutionary War happened was because we felt that we could do better. The ideals of this country hasn't been reached. And every time we felt that we could do better, and we pushed our government to do better. But how we did that is we held their feet to the fire. We held them accountable. And if you feel like the Democratic Party isn't speaking to you, then don't subject your vote to that party. Don't subject your vote to the Republicans. I'm not telling you to be a Republican. I'm telling you to march in the midst of dogs that is ready to bite you. To march in front of water hoses that will blow all the clothes off your back and throw you against the wall. To stand in front of an army of police armed to the T, ready to shoot you soon as you blink. Not for you, but so that your children won't have to suffer through what you've suffered through. And the only way you can do that is to send a message that you have to earn whatever it is you want from me. What Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, the Abraham Lincoln, FDR, all those things they did, they wasn't popular. Those things, all of them had high opposition from the status quo. They didn't want to change anything, period. But it was bigger than that. And they pushed forward, man. They sacrificed. You don't think that they want a Civil Rights Act to if you look at history, the first time the Civil Rights Act was introduced was in 1825 or 1826. The first time it was introduced by the first black Republican. And then introduced again right before the Civil War. Both times sabotaged. Finally passed in 1964. Or 1963. One of the two. After over a century later, it passed. The same exact legislation was introduced 100 years prior, over 100 years prior. And they didn't let up. Hundreds of people died from the first time it was introduced until it passed. I'm sorry, I said hundreds, thousands, maybe 100,000s, because we had a whole Civil War. We had Jim Crow South. From emancipation, I think it was 1967 to I think it was like from 1867 to I think 1972. They did a study on the lynchings. It was over, I think it was 4,000 or close to 4,000 racially charged lynchings that happened in this country against black people. That was them dying to be free. So if they can sacrifice their life for you, you can sacrifice your vote for them. We're not just doing it to do it. We're doing it to try to get somewhere. So this means something. It's bigger than you. It has to be bigger than you for you to die for it. They were willing to die for us. It was bigger than them. What are you willing to die for? Stop playing, because if you want something different, don't think you can do the same thing and expect something different. You want something different, you have to do something different. Period. You can't lay on your ass all day and think you're going to lose weight. You want to lose weight, get up and walk around a block. That's how it's going to happen. You got to do something different. Why do you think that would change in politics? You want another job. You can't want another job and do another profession, continuing to work at the same job or not looking at, you got to do something different. You have to act. The Bible even says, you take one step toward me, I'll take two towards you. God tells you to move first before he even do anything. If you do, then I'll do. Come on, man. Get it together. You don't owe nothing to nobody. But the people. Got to be about the people. All right, man. It's 1 o'clock here in the East Coast. So that's like, it's 1 o'clock? 10? 11, 12, 1? Yep. 10, 11 on the West Coast. I'm about. I'll see y'all Monday. I'm back. I love you and Laverne. Rest in peace. I love you guys. Support. Remember to follow this channel. I know I just went on a rant. That happens sometimes. Follow the channel. Subscribe. Hit the notification button. We are on Facebook at The Section Independent, on YouTube at The Section Independent. We're on Twitter at The Section_Indie. So that's INDE. And on IG, it's the same thing. The Section_INDE. Follow us, support us. I want to be doing a lot with this channel. And so tell your friend about it. And if y'all got some things, some stories that you feel ain't getting no news or ain't getting no play on mainstream media or even progressive media, if you feel like it's something that you want me to talk about or just bring more awareness to, like hit me up and email me at thesectionindependent@gmail.com. And I'll check it out and we'll talk about it, because in addition to telling my commentary on the stories that's being told on mainstream media, I also want to highlight stories that's not being talked about that's important to you. All right. So that's it. Where's my outro? Okay, here go the outro. Y'all be real. Remember, share this, like it, subscribe to the channel so we can grow. The Section Independent. That part. You like that last video? Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, where the progressives have a voice. And remember, share this, like it, subscribe to the channel so we can grow. the section independent. That part.